Right, that's out the way. Peace, peace, cousins. It's your cousin REEbell, aka the voice, and this is the reality recap. Yep, yep. Listen, today I'm on that Braxton's season 2, episode 4. This episode was explosive, y'all. I'm sure y'all felt the same way, and we will definitely get into that in just a sec. But in the meantime, smash that like button and subscribe with the bell so you don't miss none of my commentary on this and other reality shows and situations. All right, so bust it. So y'all, this episode was. Whew, my head is still spinning from it. I watched it a couple of times because I was like, I still couldn't believe what was going on. Okay. So the episode is titled, Where Did We Go Wrong? And I was trying to pinpoint it, like when did these sisters really go wrong? But I really have to say that just kind of from the jump when I started watching them on reality, I felt like it was always something going on with them. I mean, I think this thing goes way, way, way back. The stuff that I feel about them, about the envious, there's jealousy, there's envy. And those are two different things. Okay. Don't get it twisted. But I feel like it goes, where did they go wrong? They went wrong way, way back. Like back in Baltimore somewhere, like way, way back in Maryland, wherever they from. And, it's not nothing new. This isn't new. This is like what y'all are seeing today. I just feel like it's just a result of the continuous pile up, that was going on just over and over the years. And just, Tamar's tired of it. Everybody's just tired of it. They all tired of each other. They all just sick of what they've been given to each other for the past years. And I just think that's all it was, is this stuff right here that is like the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's just all coming to a head. Okay. So y'all, it's really nothing to talk about. Like, but those first two segments, my God, today. It was really good. This episode was really good, but it was really good for all the wrong reasons. First of all, shout out to the editor because the episode was good. I like how each week it's the same scene, right? But it's just like a little more sauce that they put on it. And I kind of like how they did that. So shout out to the editors. Whoever is the editor, whoever are the editors, for the, I should have looked it up and just let y'all know who it was. But shout out to the editors because they doing a good job of like slowly revealing, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's the same scenes, but they just like add in stuff, that transpired, and they just every week they add more and more. And I like how they doing that. But so there's new stuff this week, let's talk about these new revelations that were made this week. And like I said, I feel like everybody, like my thumbnail says, everybody hates Tamar, but not me. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. It's a lot of things that went on, and let me just go through them, and I'll let y'all know how I feel and why I said that. So the episode opens up. Tamar is pressing them about like who gave out her address, right? And once again, nobody knows. Everybody's sitting there like it wasn't me. Well, it was one of y'all. Let's keep it 1,000. One of y'all gave the damn address to the brother, because like they still not saying who did the who gave Tamar this cease and desist. She won't say it. Maybe in next week they'll say that it's the brother who did it, because I know it's not Tony, because Tony, she keeps saying to Tony, you didn't have my back with this. So that tells me that Tony's not on it. And I know Trina's not on it, because Trina keeps saying in her sidebars, I'm not nowhere on there. My name ain't on it. She's like, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. So everybody's just sitting around, I don't know who did it. I ain't give the address. Trina claims she don't know Tamar's address, but one of y'all know her address. Somebody's lying. Y'all are lying. And that's why, I have to side with Tamar on this, because it's like,
stop the cap.
Somebody gave the brother, who I feel like is the one who served this thing to her. Somebody gave that to him. And who else would do it? It had to be one of y'all. Like it had to be, right? So listen, I side with Tamar on this, pressing them about who did it and wanting to know who gave up my address, like who compromised me and my son's safety by giving somebody an address and allowing them just to walk up on my ish. I agree 1000% with her on that. So then there's this thing where Tamar says to Wanda, she's like, I know you don't come to my house, but I know where you live because I put the down payment on your house. Now we talked about that last week. That wasn't the revelation, but what they did reveal was Tamar going into more in depth about it, and she's saying to Tawanda, I gave you $50,000 as a down payment for your house, and Tawanda's like, no, you gave me a gift, right? She said, you gave me a gift. And Tamar's like, no, it wasn't a gift. She said, I gave you, you said you needed the money to put in your account. They needed to see the money in your account. You said you was going to give it right back. Tawanda is claiming that that's not true, that it was definitely a gift. And Tawanda says it wasn't 35,000. I mean, it wasn't 50,000. It was just 35,000. But Tawanda, to me, 35 racks, 50 racks is all the same thing. What's the difference? She gave you a lot of money. Let's just say that she saved your ass and allowed you to get the house that you needed. Okay, that's what happened. It's semantics at this point. Potato, 35K, 50K. She gave you. She hit you off. She broke you off. Put it like that. And she allowed you. She helped you to get your situation. And I have to side with Tamar on this because the way that Tamar was explaining it, that she, I need this money. And I can hear it because when I bought my house, I remember when we bought our house, I do remember that you do have to show money in your account. You can't just go buy a house, right? You got to put your down payment down, and then you got to show a nice situation sitting up in your thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that. You got to have that thing, right? And so I understand the way Tamar explained it, and it makes a lot of sense. And then of course what's her name? Tawanda be sitting there lying, and and she does it in such a calm manner. It's just kind of scary. Does it like a sociopath or something. She sits there all calm and stuff, and she will call you a liar to your face knowing that she's the one that's lying. Okay, so like I said, I agree with Tamar on that because I know how that goes, and I do believe that she said to her, yeah, let me get it. I'll help you. I'll give it to you, but make sure you give it back. And then I heard her saying, then Tamar said, you listed me as a creditor, which means that it sounds like Tawanda might have, she may have filed for bankruptcy and then put Tamar as a creditor so she wouldn't have to pay her back. Ooh, that's diabolical. That ain't right. But again, I side with Tamar. I believe Tamar on that. I'm sorry. And then Tawanda to go in the booth and say, well, she gave me $35,000, back in 2018. I'm like, sis, listen, I don't care if she gave it to you in 1962. She gave you a lot of money, which allowed you to get the thing that you was trying to get, which was your house. Be grateful. Be grateful. Do you know what I'm saying? Be grateful. And then Tawanda goes on to say, now that I know what I know, I would not have accepted the money from her.
Stop the cap.
I'm like, girl, stop. Listen, if you knew what you knew, you still would have took it because you still needed the damn house. And obviously you couldn't get it from nowhere else, or else you wouldn't have took it from Tamar. So please.
Man, you don't get out here with all that.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it a buck, Tawanda. Let's keep it a buck. Okay. So then Tawanda asked, "Ooh, this was a dig." And then Tawanda, as her dig back to Tamar for saying that, she goes, Tony, did Tamar pay you when she stayed in the condo with such and such? Now, who was the name? I was trying to figure out who she was talking about. Who did Tamar stay in Tony's condo with? Because like I said, I dropped off of all of this stuff for a while, and there was a time period where I wasn't really in the loop with this, and I wasn't really following what they were doing on social media. I just kind of stepped away for a minute. So I was trying to figure out when did not when, but who did Tamar stay in the condo with at Tony's condo? That's who did she stay with? But anyway, the bottom line was Tamar said yes, he did pay, but Tony said no, he didn't pay. So whoever the dude was that stayed with Tamar didn't pay Tony for staying there, but Tony just kind of brushes it off like, okay, whatever. But then Tawanda, did y'all catch this? Did y'all catch? Please tell me y'all caught this. If y'all paying attention, y'all caught this. Tawanda looks at Trina, they smirk at each other, and Tawanda winks at her like, yep, I said you would like she's saying I'm going along with the plan. I got her ass. This is why, again, I side with Tamar because you could tell that Tawanda and Trina, they got a serious problem with this girl, right? And not to say Tamar, again, listen, I'm not saying she's not explosive sometimes. I'm not saying that she don't, get a little whatever she gets. But you could just tell that the two of them sit and sip their drinks and talk about her and came up with all the things that Tawanda was going to say, because obviously Trina's sitting there ain't got nothing to say. But I bet you Tawanda is the mouthpiece for both her and Trina. You're not slick. You're not slick, okay? You are not slick. I just know that y'all was talking about her, and everything Tawanda is saying is everything that you feel, Trina, because we seen that smirk that you gave last week. We remember that, okay? I definitely remember that. So again, I'm siding with Tamar because the two of y'all be trying to jump her on the low, you know what I'm saying? Gaslighting and all that stuff. I believe Tamar when she says that about them. I really do. And I could just tell that y'all were obviously plotting and planning, all the things that y'all were going to say against her. And Tawanda is doing it in the moment. Okay. So then another revelation was that Tamar says that Tawanda used Tamar's credit card to pay for Tawanda's family's phone bill. What is going on? But this is the part that I didn't understand. I don't know. She said that she had been doing it for 4 years. Now, I don't know how Tawanda got away with doing that for 4 years. I really don't understand. I wish she would have explained how that happened a little more. Because if she's using your credit card, don't you see the charges keep going? And Tawanda denies it, of course. But then Tony, Tamar's looking at Tony like Tony Braxton, like have my back. And Tony kind of has her back, but then she kind of does it in a way that's kind of whack. Like when Tamar wasn't looking, I feel like, you saw that with the thing that she did to Tawanda, like just let it, it doesn't make it true. It doesn't. So again, I'm siding with Tamar because number one, Trina, that was messed up. That was messed up and sneaky. If you took the girl credit card and have your family plan, with 1,000 lines on it, paying with the girl money, you know what I'm saying? That's messed up, right? But then I also didn't like the way Tony was kind of first, she looked at her and said, yeah, she acknowledged it, but then she kind of backtracked and was like, it don't make it true, just like on the low. Like what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing? I feel when Tamar uses that word gaslight and all of the things, you can kind of see it. And I'm not saying that Tony and Tamar don't have a relationship. They seem to be the only ones that really have the relationship, but it's still kind of shaky bakey. It ain't really on solid ground to me. So that's when Tawanda dropped the whole "you stole Tony's man" thing, right? The bomb that she dropped from last week, right? And it looks like to me, because I'm not the only one, y'all. The whole world was trying to figure out what name did this girl did Tawanda say. Now, first, like I said in the recap that I did last week, I said I felt like it was Carrie. I mean, Carrie's the first person who came to my mind because Carrie's the one who Tony was with back in the day. If you know and love Tony Braxton, you know that she was married to Carrie for a long time. You know that was her dude, right? Everybody knows that. So I was thinking she was saying Carrie, but I was just kind of studying her mouth and looking at her lips. It looked like she said Brian. It looked like she formed her mouth to say Brian or something like that. So what I did was, now I know that I believe that Birdman's name is Brian too, right? I think. So I, did some digging And I it comes back that Tony did used to date this dude. Now I don't know if this is true. This is alleged. I wasn't there. I don't know. I love Toni Braxton, but I don't know her personally. I don't know everybody that she used to date because, again, like I said in my last review, back in the 90s, it wasn't cameras everywhere. So, you had to know somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody to get like the back, the stuff. It wasn't all these blogs telling people's business. It wasn't cameras in your face. You could get away with having a private moment, a private relationship, a private everything back then, unlike today. So I don't know if this was true, but I did, it did come up that Tony used to date this dude named Brian Reed back in the mid 1990s, right? So then later on, so the mid 1990s to me is 1995 because that's the mid 90s, right? So then later on in the show, and I'm jumping ahead because I'm going to get to this, but Tamar says it herself. Tamar says, Tawanda brought up something about me from the mid 1990s when I was 18. Y'all said, what? So I feel like it's true. I feel like, and I believed it anyway, to be honest. I felt like when Tawanda dropped that bomb last week, whoever she said, because I didn't know really who she said, I felt like it was true because I felt like the way what's her name? Tamar jumped up and slapped the glass. Just her reaction was just over the top. And like I said, if somebody accuses you of something that is so far beyond your character, there's no need for you to get up and go through all the rigmarole. Just say you was a Emma effing liar. You can't get a rise out of me for blaming me for something that's so freaking ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It just don't work like that. So when I seen Tamar jump up, slap stuff around, call her all of this, and then try to divert it back on Tawanda, I was like, yeah, I feel like this could be true. And then there it was. Brian Reed from the mid 1990s is when allegedly Tony was dating this dude, and then Tamar says Tawanda brought up something from the mid 90s when I was 18, and I think that's what she was talking about. Y'all, okay. So anyway, yeah, that was a long time ago, but the point was, I feel like it was true. And I feel like Tony knew it. And Tony did know it because you could tell by Tony's face. And again, I said this in my last one. I said, Tony did not look surprised. She looked like, I remember like, yeah, to Tamar, you did do that. That was the look that she gave Tamar when Tawanda dropped the bomb. It wasn't like a what? Oh my gosh, she didn't clutch her pearls, right? She didn't do that. She just kind of looked like, yeah, Tamar, you did that. Remember that? So my thing was, I believe Tawanda here. I couldn't take Tamar's side on this one. I couldn't take her side on this one because, first of all, that's some cruddy shit to do to your sister. Cruddy shit to do to your sister, right? You don't do that, right? Who does that? But again, this goes back to what I'm saying. That that jealousy and envy. Is not now. This stuff goes back to a long time ago. If Tamar slept with Tony's man in the mid 1990s and it's 2025, they had issues a long time ago. Seriously, a long time ago, right? Allegedly, because I wasn't there. I don't know them. I'm just saying. So again, I believe Tawanda here. I'm taking, I can't take Tamar's back, not on this one. But so then this part was kind of messed up. Okay, so then Tawanda goes on to say, listen, because Tamar's going off, right? Tamar's going off. And she's like, I don't deal with sick people. I don't argue with sick people, right? This is what Tawanda says. And then there was a moment when Tony looks in the camera at us. She's looking at us and she goes, mental health is real, y'all. And then Tamar said it back to Tamar said, yes, I got it. And so do you got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. And you got it. You know what? Shout out to Tamar for standing up for herself because let me tell you something. I hated the way that they if you know, Tamar admitted it. I don't have to say if or allegedly. Tamar did say, yes, I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, you know, all of these things, and I am taking medication for it. But how dare y'all use that against me? You know what I'm saying? And again, I side with Tamar, you know, because how can y'all don't weaponize her mental health and try to use it against her? Like, is the first of all, it's not even relevant in the situation. Is not the reason. Yeah, they trying to say her acting like this is the reason why you know, her mental health is an issue. And she's like, as if Tamar's just going off for nothing. And everybody knows, y'all, or everybody knows, we all watching the show. We know that Tamar showed up and she's going off because she was served with a cease and damn desist. Who gave it? And nobody want to take like the blame for it. Everybody's acting like they don't know who gave it to her. And that's some bullshit. And you know it. Y'all all know it. It's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face is what it is. And then to turn around and then talk about mental health is real and oh, I'm not arguing with sick people, you know, just because she's trying to make a point. Yeah, she did get a little, the singing was, you know, to the left and, you know, but that's just Tamar acting like Tamar. And y'all know that. She's not doing that because she's bugged out. She's just extra. And y'all know the girl is extra. She just being her normal extra self. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying she's being her normal extra self. What does her mental health have to do with anything that's really happening in this moment, y'all? Nothing to me. Nothing to me. So, you know, I got to side with Tamar on this one, on that particular issue with the way they brought up her mental health stuff, tried to use it against her. But again, shout out to Tamar for, you know, standing in her power. Like when you acknowledge the things about yourself, you know what I'm saying? You take that power away from other people. Like if you know that you've had issues with your mental health and you say it and you're not scared of it, you're not trying to hide it. Like she stood up and said, yeah, I take she named the pills that she was taking, you know, but side part, but she also told them they also need to be on the pills. She said, y'all need to be taking these damn pills too, child. But my point is, instead of trying to hide it and deny it, which is what the rest of them would probably do, especially Toni, she's so extra PR, you know, PR perfect. I mean, but she has to be, she's a legend. I'm just saying, I love me some Toni Braxton. I'm sorry. I'm always like Kate for Toni, but shout out to Tamar for like standing in her power with that and keeping her power with that and not relinquishing it to her sisters who tried to use it against her. She said, yeah, I got this. I got depression. I got this and that, whatever. I see a person. I see somebody for what and what and what. I love that. I love that. So shout out to Tamar for that. Because mental health issues, having mental health issues is no longer, and speaking about it, it's not taboo no more. This is not 1990. This is not, you know, 2000. It's 2025. You know, people are going through stuff. People have to medicate. People have to self-medicate. People have to do what they have to do to get through stuff. So people are going through a lot. You know, so it's just not taboo no more. And y'all to try to use that against her, make her look wild and crazy and all that. I hated that. I really hated that. So another revelation, Toni says she uses her PR team to do damage control because of Tamar's actions. And she said Tamar wants to be infamous versus famous, y'all. Now, there's a difference between being infamous and being famous. So famous is like what Toni Braxton is. She's like, you know, you living off of, you have talent, people know you, people love you for a good thing. People love you for the great things that you've done. I believe that's what famous is. Now, I should be looking it up, but I really don't, you know, I don't have time to work it up in here. I should have put it up as one of my slides, but I ain't gonna do that right now. But infamous, I believe, is when you get a rep or you get well known for a bunch of just nonsense that you do. Like you out here doing crazy, stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? And people getting to know you for that. So that was kind of a dig. It was a dig. And you know, I can't side with Tamar on this one. I have to agree with Tony because Tamar do be out here wilding and stuff. You know, not to say that she don't have her reasons. I'm not saying she don't have her reasons because you know we all know that we are all finding out that she definitely does. You know what I'm saying? And how she handles the things that she's been through. Is it the best way to do it? No, but it's her way of doing it. You know, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let her have that, but I cannot side with Tamar on this one. Sorry, Tamar, can't side with you on that. And then, all right, now another revelation. And I'm glad this came to light because I spoke about this in my last review. Tony admitted that she admitted to saying that she did want Ashley to do the Braxton. I said, good, Tony. And I love that she stood on business with that. She got in her sidebar and she said, I said what I said. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Tony Braxton for standing on business because I did get on her, you know, the last time because they didn't like stretch this out. They just like kind of had it clipped. And I thought Tony was trying to stand on the fact that no, she didn't say she wanted Ashley on the Braxtons, but you could tell from the context of the conversation that she definitely said it. And if you go back to my last recap, you'll know what I said. I said the same thing. I said, no, Tony, I can't side with you on this because I do believe that you did say you wanted Ashley to be on the show because the way you called Tamar's show, Tamar's podcast, a chitlin circuit. So you wouldn't say that unless you were comparing it to something else. So I knew that she said it. So I'm glad that she, you know, came up and said that she said what she said. You know what I'm saying? So then Tamar circles back to the I'll take your man situation. She goes back to that, right? And Tony is cool. Tony is chilling. Tony is chilling in the chair. You see her sitting back, you know, until she's chilling until it looks like Tamar said, you think I slept with Birdman? Oh. Why you say that? Because then Tony Michelle jumped the hell up and was like, Tamar, don't F with me. I think that's what she was saying. I mean, again, this was another one of those places where she blurred, you know, they blurred the mouth, they blurred the title, you know, they bleeped out the name. But I do believe allegedly that Tamar was saying, what you think I slept with Birdman too? And I think Tony thought that Tamar was about to say, because now if y'all, okay, what's going on online right now, I know y'all see it. Everybody's talking about that Tamar used to date Birdman back in the day, right? Which was a revelation for everybody. I definitely didn't know that. But so now they're like, okay, Tony's dating somebody that Tamar used to mess with. And so I think that Tony might have thought that Tamar was gonna start going into that. You know what I'm saying? That she was gonna maybe say something like, yeah, but I definitely, I did that or something. I guess she didn't know what Tamar was gonna do. Tony didn't know what Tamar was gonna do. So Tony Michelle had to jump up and get all up in Tamar's face. Like, Tamar, I'm not, she damn near flipped the table. Tony Michelle, it wasn't Tony Braxton, y'all. Tony Michelle jumped up and was like, I will slap the living shit out of you. She was ready. She was ready. So here's another place I can't stand with Tamar on this man stealing thing, but I definitely believe it. I'm sorry. I do. I believe it. Allegedly, sorry. I believe that it happened because, again, I said it earlier in this podcast why I believe that. And I just cannot get with that. I could never get with a sister. I don't care if it was in 100 years ago. You just don't do that. You just don't do that. Okay. So, again, I can't side with Tamar on that. So then Tamar jumps up and she steps to Tony like Tony's another bitch in the street. Like, she steps to her like, what you want to do? What you want to do? Like she was going at her like she ain't even know her, right? Which I mean, again, I guess Tamar is like, she's had it. Tony's had it. Because everybody's just bugging out at this point, right? And Trina tries to step in the middle of it. And when she does that, did she push Tamar? No. Did she put her hands on her? Not the way that Tamar is saying, but she's like trying to inch her way in between them because she doesn't want them to fight. You know what I'm saying? She feels like, and I guess she's looking at how the way Tamar's going at her, like, what you want to do? What you like Tamar would, just go ahead and mollywop her all up and down the rest of the month. And I know Tony Michelle, like she said, she's no nonsense, but I don't think she's a match for Tamar. I really don't think that. So I think Trina immediately jumps up and tries to get in the middle of them, right? But as she's doing that, Trina says, "No, Tony, you're a superstar," which is a dig at Tamar. Right? Telling Tony, you don't need to do this. You're a superstar. Like Tamar is just straight up trash. That was a dig, right? And I think Tamar took that like kind of messed up. She didn't like that because when 2 seconds later, Tamar snatched Trina's wig back. Snatched Trina's wig on back. I'm not laughing because it was messed up. I wasn't laughing when this thing was going down. I'm telling y'all, I was like this. I was literally, my hand was over my mouth because I couldn't believe. I said she grabbed the lady's wig and tried to rip the thing. Now, what if it was one of those days where Trina just, sometimes you put your wig on, you don't like seal it down and you just put the thing on. What if she would have just yanked it off her head? I was like, Tamar, did Tamar really just grab her sister's hair like that? And then they said she kicked her, right? She also kicked Trina. Yeah, again, I'm telling y'all, I couldn't believe that it was going this far on TV with these girls, because where I started with them, again, they had issues, but I just never could see it going this far, right? And here's another place I can't really stand with Tamar on this. I don't think Trina really put her hands on her. I think, she touched her, and maybe Trina shouldn't have touched her, but there was no other way to get them apart. But she didn't really push her. Trina didn't push Tamar. She didn't say, get out the way. She didn't do none of that. She just was kind of gently inching her way in between them and trying to break up their little altercation that was going on, right? Now, this part was weird to me. It was weird to me. Tawanda comes to console. She also gets in the middle and she comes to console Tony. And she's like, don't worry, Tony. You don't worry. This was messed up. Let's just call the cops on Tamar. I said, wait, y'all, I'm telling y'all, so many times I had to pause my TV because I was literally like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, for real. My heart was racing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting here like, what? It's like the all gloves were off. These girls were, it was like, all gloves were off. Like, at this point, I didn't know what was going on. Tawanda turned around and said, let's call the cops on Tamar. Listen, Tony said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But listen, Tawanda, for you to even say that was so effing low. Why would you call the cops on your damn sister? Why would you just see? Now, listen, that tells me everything that I need. If I had any doubt in my mind, like, oh no, it's just a sister thing. Oh, they just bickering a little bit. Tawana don't really hate her like that. She don't listen. If there was any doubt in my mind like that, it's all gone now. If I was fighting with my sister, not fighting, because I don't feel like they were fighting. If I was tussling with anything, I'm not calling the damn cops on my child. Who does that? You really want to see Tamar out down bad. That's the thing. Tawanda really wants to see her down bad. Calling the cops? Tony said no. I agreed, with Tony and everything. But I'm just like, why would you even suggest that? Why would you even suggest that? Tamar didn't take your ass to court when you ain't pay her them 35 raps. Right? I mean, call the cops. Tawanda, bye, girl. Bye. I'm serious. Bye. So then Tamar was just like, y'all are jealous bitches. And, she was saying this to Trina and Tawanda. And she told Trina, you know what? You got me fucked up. You got me fucked up. And y'all tried to destroy my business. Y'all tried to destroy me by shutting down my business. And then Tamar goes on to say that these hoes have ran me down to the ground over the years. That's big. That's big to say. That's big to say. Right? Because you kind of seeing it now. And here's where I side with Tamar. I'm siding with her because I feel like, she just has had enough of it. Listen to what she's saying. She's like, listen, I did not come here. I wasn't really I came here for open conversation. I really just came to talk about who served me with this paperwork, why y'all served me, why y'all mad at me for allowing Ashley to get up here and tell a story. She just wants some answers to some legit questions. And everybody's sitting around like scratching their head like they don't know what the fuck she's talking about. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. And Tamar has had enough. And she's saying they have ran me down to the ground over the years. And, we all felt like, oh, you just so over the top. It's nothing. But as we're watching this stuff, you see it. You can see where they all come together. You could just tell they all have an issue with her. And I think a lot of the issue came when she started, coming up. She's getting accolades. She's got a great, listen, I already talked about Tamar's vocal and how I feel about her vocal. I think she is top 5, top 10, R&B singers today I'm talking about, right? Her vocal is off the chain, right? And I think she's so talented. That's why I get so upset. Like all of this stuff that goes on, the shenanigans online and all of this stuff that goes on in the reality stuff. I'm like, not to say again, she does belong on reality. She is good TV, but I keep saying, I just get frustrated because her vocal ability is like insane. And I stand on that 1000%. You can't really tell by the clips that they show online with these shows that she does. But if you go and listen to her when she's just sitting down, just singing and not playing, you know what I'm saying? She's in the studio. Listen to her records, y'all. Go back to that Calling All Lovers album. I'm going to tell y'all again, if you ain't heard that, go back to that. I still feel like the Grammys owe her a damn Grammy for that. Word up. So again, I had to side with Tamar on this. I feel like she's just fed up. She's just fed up. You know what I'm saying? She's just fed up. She's fed up with the gaslighting. She's fed up with, everybody treating her like, oh, she's just the prodigal sister. She just ain't got no good sense, but in all actuality, she's reacting to something that was done to her. She's not just acting. What Tamar is doing is this is all like we're finding out, we're seeing that this is a reaction. It's not an action. This is all reaction to the things that she's been through with her sisters over the years, period. And if y'all don't see that, I'm sorry. I don't know how y'all can't see that, but I'm standing on that. And I side with Tamar on that, period. Now, I did like how Trina handled herself. I just want to say this for the record. I like how Trina handled herself. Shout out. That wig tug. She took that wig tug in stride. She took that wig tug and that kick to the back. She took that drop kick and that wig tug in stride. She did not turn around. She did not react. And I think she probably knew better not to. Trina don't look like a fighter to me. So she just, and plus she says, she's classy. She just wanted to de-escalate. She was using words like that and I get it. But I think the bottom line was, I feel like she knew better than to try to, Tracy don't look like she, like Tamar told her, you can't hold me. And I think that might be true, unfortunately. But I do wonder though. I do wonder how all of this would have went down if Tracy was here. I feel like if Tracy was here, Tracy will. I don't think this would be happening if Tracy was here. She was always able to. Well, from what I saw back when they were doing their show before, I feel like she was always able to tell Tamar, "Calm your ass down, because I will slap the shit out of you." Tamar would, like, she had a limit when Tracy was around. You know what I'm saying? It was a line that she would not cross. But with these girls, the rest of her sisters, she's like, is Tracy's not here? Tamar's she's not holding back. She's letting everything out. She's saying what she want to say. She's doing what she want to do. She's jumping in faces. She don't care. She don't care. So yeah. And so just another thing, just real quick, because there's nothing really else that I wanted to talk about except for the scene at the table and what transpired in that restaurant. I hated, let me just say for the record too, I hated the way Tawanda called Tamar unpredictable. Tamar is one of the most predictable people. Like, she's very predictable. If you say some shit that she don't like and it's not true, she's just real like that. She gonna get in your ass. She's going to react no matter who's around, no matter what's around, no matter she ain't on that Toni Braxton PR perfect Patty shit. Tamar's like, say some F shit, and I'm gonna say some F shit right back to you. Listen, she's real. And Tamar said nobody will disturb her peace, right? No, Tawanda said this. Nobody's going to disturb my peace. But the thing is, Tawanda, again, I have to say, you can't say that. You can't disturb somebody's peace and then they react and then say, oh, from their reaction, oh, she ain't going to disturb my peace. But you the one that disturbed her peace that caused her to disturb your damn peace. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do y'all get that? I hate when people do that. When they try to act like your reaction, you know, whether it's big or small, it doesn't matter, that your reaction is the action. And it's like, no, the reaction is my action is the reaction to the shit that you said or that you did. This is, I'm speaking from Tamar's point of view, right? So I hated when I hated the way Tawanda did that, tried to sit there like Tamar is the problem. Listen, you're the catalyst, baby. You are the catalyst, okay? You are. And then Tamar talks to the executive producer, the showrunner, and she's explaining, you know, she's like, my sisters just didn't like the fact that, you know, I had wanted Ashley on the platform. And that's how all of this started. I hated when Toni tried to say, Tamar, you drew first blood by bringing out this paperwork. Again, gaslighting the girl because she's bringing out paperwork because y'all served her with the damn paperwork. Like, what I hated to see that when Toni tried to say that she drew first blood. No, Tamar did not draw y'all drew first blood. And then y'all sitting there playing on her head top, acting like y'all don't know what she's talking about. That's whack. That's whack.
Man, you don't get out here with all that.
Seriously, that's whack. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and again, Tamar says again, this is the point that I made earlier. She said Tawanda brings up something that happened in 1995. I feel like that was the reference to the man thing that we talked about earlier. I think that's the dude that she might have slept with, you know, and then she says it was in 1995. But again, Tamar, I already said I can't take you back on that part because I don't care if it was 95, 82, 47. You don't sleep with your sister's man. You don't do that. You don't do that. But Tamar feels attacked, you know, about the cease and the desist and just the gaslighting. Everybody's sitting there acting like, what? I don't know. I didn't give you address. What paperwork? I ain't got nothing to do. My name ain't on it. I got your, all of that. I got your back, fakeness and all this stuff. And Tamar says, I got to protect myself. I got to protect my peace for me and my kid. I'm fighting for me and I got to put me first. And I'm telling y'all, I got to like give it up to her for saying that, you know, and for taking, yep. and for taking that stance, because that's real. You gotta this is how you gotta be these days, because people will fuck you over so bad. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know who you are. You gotta stand for something. And if you don't stand for nothing, stand for yourself. Stand up for yourself, right? But this is why they're not filming together. And this is when we see that this is when Tamar draws the line and says, this is why I'm not filming with them. I can't film with them. And now I get it. Now I understand why she said that. Because in the beginning, they made it seem like Tamar was just being a diva. I ain't filming with y'all. She ain't being a diva. I stand with her on this. Yet they messing with her. And she has every right to say, you know what? They acting like this. They don't want to give me answers. Then fuck it. I'm not dealing with them. She has every right to do that and feel like that. And I stand with her on that. And that's basically the episode. But one more thing I just want to say for the record. Dear Tawanda's lady maids, or whatever y'all want to call yourself, y'all gonna stop sneak dissing Tony. Tony is booked and busy, damn it. Let her do what she got to do. She got shows to do. She got money to make. She can't sit around doing 4,000 different bridal parties with y'all. She just can't do it. I'm tired of y'all trying to sneak diss her and, just to cape for Tawanda. Let Tawanda deal with that. That's her sister. Y'all keep y'all little sneaky slide comments to yourself. Let Tony stay booked and busy. Woo, child. All right. So that is the episode, y'all. It was a lot. Let me tell you, it was a lot. And I'm just going to say, I watched it a couple of times because I couldn't believe it. But that's that. I just had to get that off my chest. So y'all, that's all. Jump down in the comments and let me know what you think. What is happening with the Braxton sisters? Where did they go wrong, y'all? I said way back in the day, this ain't new, but where do y'all think they went wrong? Is envy, jealousy tearing them apart? Is Tony Michelle really about that life? Is she really about that life?
Stop the cap.
Not to me, y'all. Not to me. Was Tamar wrong for that wig tug and that drop kick to Trina's back? Do y'all believe Tawanda slept with Tony's man too? Child, that is crazy. Do these sisters need Jesus, y'all? Is it just over, or can Jesus save the day? I'm just saying. Let's talk about it down in the comments. So again, Cuzns, it's your cousin REEbell, aka The Voice. Smash the like button. Go ahead and subscribe so we can do this again. This was so much fun. Thank y'all for joining. Peace. I'm out.